you been, man?
I've been great, man.
How about the weather?
I'm Arizona born and bred, man. Like, and just when you think you get used to it, you don't.
Gives you a right hook.
It gives you that right hook.
Was it 117 the other day or something? Gonna cook eggs outside.
Yeah. I'm from Yuma, Arizona, though, man.
Oh, you're from the heat, the real heat.
My last summer in Yuma, it was 124.
What
So
do
it
you
was like,
do?
you just roll with it, like just like anything else.
Does the AC work?
I mean, in your mind.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here and being on the show. I look forward to talking to you and picking your brain about stuff you're involved with.
Thank you.
It's going to be a good time. So go ahead and introduce yourself for the listeners.
Yeah, I'm Gabe Ceniceros, proud owner of the Blacktop Grill and singer-songwriter for Los Streetlights.
Okay.
So, yeah, I kind of just, I guess, I revolve my life around creativity. And so, I think that's what helps me succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creation of content and stuff's huge nowadays.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I try and keep up, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot. It's a lot. But, at the end of the day, you do it for yourself and not for other people. And that's, I think, what keeps me motivated.
Yeah, that's real. That's 100%. The most important thing. So Blacktop Grill, I had the pleasure of having it
right on
for the first time. I think it might have been last year's when you opened.
Yeah, we opened November 15th, right in the middle of the pandemic. It was a little crazy. People thought I was nuts, but
yeah, to see the storefront going up when it did, even I was like, man, I really hope they got a plan to get But it was just the nature of what we were going through. It was a shocker to see something opening because I hadn't.
Yeah.
I actually kept seeing the opposite.
Yeah.
I kept seeing a lot of businesses close just in the complex that we're in right now. We saw 5 businesses close during that.
100%.
And it's like, holy cow, but you did it and you made it. And
still going strong, baby.
Food is so good.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you. I'm glad you had a good experience.
Between my wife and I, we've been there several times.
All right. I love it.
Yeah. I got my folks to eat there a couple weekends ago. We went in there and we go in there like thinking we know what we're gonna buy, and we buy way more. Every time we're like, oh, I'm just gonna get this and this, and then it's like, well, now they got this. So
yeah, I mean, like a lot of the stuff, man, like it reheats pretty well overall, right? Majority of it, I can't speak for it all, but majority of it heats up pretty well, man, and it's a big meal, so you can save some for later and be sure that it's still gonna be good.
Yeah.
Next meal over, I guess.
What's your signature dish? Or what's your favorite?
What's my favorite? It's all my favorite. It's all my favorite. Everything's like tried, tested, and approved. 7 years, man. You know what I mean? A lot of the new stuff, for example, the sandwiches and loaded fries and keto tacos, they're fairly new. But we've taken the last 6 months to perfect them, and people are loving them. So, but if I go back to the original, man, we started off hot dogs. We started off hot dogs and then gradually moved into quesadillas. I know it doesn't seem like, okay, a quesadilla, but ours are like 7 years approved, like tried, tested, like creative combinations.
Your food's no joke. Like you can tell that there's like heart and soul.
I appreciate that. That's what we go for.
Yeah, it's not like you just go to like, you walk into some conglomerate restaurant, or you're like, oh yeah, this is, I'm just gonna order this. There's more to it. You can feel just in the environment too, and just
thank
the
you.
brand.
I appreciate you saying that because that's what we're shooting for, right? When people walk in, man, we just wanted them to feel welcome and know that whatever they're sitting down for is going to be special, right? Yeah. So I think we've been doing a good job, and I appreciate you sharing that because that's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, I had a great time there with my wife. We went on a date there one night. We sat on your patio.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, we just
I feel like we got like one of the best views in town.
Yeah,
like
the sky and
it's just open and I
was like, oh,
100%.
It's pretty sweet. So yeah, we did a little date night there.
And there's something relaxing about passing cars for some weird reason. Like, right? Like you would think like
you're sitting there all calm. You're like, oh, they're not there yet.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Thank you, man. Yeah. That makes me feel like we're doing a good job.
Yeah. So how did you get started in all this? What was the motivation for it?
Well, number one, it was just, I've always wanted to be a business owner, right? Ever since I could remember. And business owners to me, man, I think the motivation was business owners to me just had this strut to them, right? they just had this smile of confidence, and I think that really struck me at a young age. I didn't start a business at a young age. You know, I just kind of followed, you know, the whole college thing and getting different jobs, and you know, it wasn't very satisfying once I was there, right?
Yeah.
And so I tried a couple businesses back in the day that failed miserably, man. I think you just have to have a mindset, right? It's kind of like the gym.
Yeah.
You got to go all the time. Same as business. You get in there, man, and it's an everyday thing. It's not, I'm going to go and party with my friends all weekend and then be back to business. Nah, man, you're working on the weekends. But for once in my life, man, I finally feel satisfied, right? With all those odds and ends jobs and growing up, and I even got the office job, the quote-unquote office job, and I wasn't satisfied, right? And right now, I feel like the monster in me is, like, satisfied. So I'm doing something that I know I created from scratch, right? And it's something that I'm going to give my all to maintain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful, the feeling of making a product that somebody enjoys wholeheartedly?
Oh my God.
And they come back for more and more.
It makes all like the heavy work, man, like worth it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's just like anything else, right? Even if you have like a job, right? You're going to have bad days.
Mm-hmm.
Same as in business. You're going to have bad days, man. You're going to have your stressful days. But there's a lot of satisfaction that comes with it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my ultimate driver right there. Like the satisfaction I feel when I go to bed at night, knowing that it's mine. Even if it was a hard day, like how I taught myself to get through that particular situation and then move on with life, right?
Yeah.
Like not dwell on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, I feel satisfied these days, 100%.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So did you start like in a truck, or
man,
were you in a brick and mortar? How did you start?
Excuse my French, man, but excuse my French, but I started in a little shitty hot dog cart, and it was just one of those things, man. Like I'd moved to Tucson then, and at the time I was serving at the Cheesecake Factory, and I just knew, man, like, you know, when I moved here from Yuma, that I wanted something different for myself, right? And so, long story short, well, I'll rewind a little bit. I'll go back to Yuma because it's kind of like intertwines, right?
Yeah.
I'm a musician too, man. I play music. I write my own music and so on and so forth. So I'd have a gig in one of the suburbs of Yuma, and I would go to this hot dog cart. The hot dogs were amazing. They were $3 a piece, just fully loaded. And I would go there on drunken nights and just have like 4 of them, right? And so I was talking to the guy one night, man, and I was like, how many of these you sell a weekend? And he tells me 700. Do the math.
Holy cow.
3 times 700 in one weekend.
Yeah, $2,100.
That kind of lit like a light bulb, right? It was just like, what the hell am I doing working for somebody else, right? And it took a long while, right? It's not like this glamorous. It's not like this glamorous story where I just jumped in and it was successful. No, man, it took many years to make that jump. And so when I moved to Tucson, that conversation was always in the back of my head. So I was like, you know, man, I just want to do something. I'm not good at very many things, but I'm good at, I'm a creative by nature, right? Mm-hmm. And so I invested in this little crappy hot dog cart that was held together by Band-Aids and you know what I mean, string. And I just kind of went for it, you know, not knowing, just kind of promising myself, like, let's see how far we could take this thing, mm-hmm. not knowing that it was going to be a thing, right?
Yeah.
And so we find ourselves here today, man. Like, yeah, restaurant and everything. 7 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
From a cart
to another cart.
To another cart.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
to another city.
Well, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, I think about this all the time because it's little wins, right? So number one, the number one win was I bought the cart. That, to give you some perspective, was just as scary as opening up a restaurant. Crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So you get this little tiny cart, and you get like a full-size restaurant. And I was just as nervous for both of them. No, that was win number one, because I feel like just making that move and getting all the licensing and just jumping out there without, I'm not going to say without worry, just jumping into it, right, is a win in itself.
Yeah.
2 years later, I was walking away from the man. Yeah. 5 years later, man, we're like winning awards and we're getting, featured on publications, all this crazy stuff. 7 years later, we're opening a brick and mortar. So looking at it, it was like tiny wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, and exciting, like, whoa. So looking back, like, at that first day, man, the first day I sold one hot dog. And that kind of, like, dragged on for, like, excuse my French, but, like, month or two. Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah, like, yeah. I didn't make any significant money, like, right away. You know what I mean? And that's what people got to understand, too. Like, you got a great idea. You just got to, like, stick with it.
Yeah, we talk about it often here on this podcast, especially with business owners, that social media tends to glamorize business and entrepreneurship, and it's always like, I did this overnight, now I went from rags to riches, like just in an instant, like it just came.
Heck no, man. It never works out like that, and I don't want anybody to think that happened to me. It was 7 years straight hustle.
That's a long time, yeah.
Straight hustle, man. Like, it was a lot of sacrifice. It's
24/7, so, like.
Yeah, I mean, that's another, like, that's another struggle right there, man. Learning how to turn it off.
Yeah.
Right? And that's new to me. Like, on my day off, learning how to turn it off and reset. Before, man, I mean, the first 2 years, I went straight, like, you know what I mean? Like, not learning how to turn it off, and that tends to get a little hectic on the body and the mind. So learning how to relax too a little bit is a learned trait for sure.
It's important.
Yeah, really, really 100%.
Do you have any particular influences that helped you decide to be where you're at as far as like with the food? Did you have somebody that I know you talked about the hot dog stand that you went to that was like really, really good. Do you have any like personal mentors or anything that
I think that's honestly, like, if I were to name a positive of social media, man, there's a lot of mentors out there now, right? And you just take a little bit of all of them. And I think if one lesson like comes to mind, it's they're all human, man. Like, even like the multi-millionaires, right? And I know some I know some multi-millionaires like personally now these days, man. And I think it's like you said, like we look at social media, we like, oh my God, they got such a great life. They're so lucky. Like, nah, man, like they're just like you and I. And when you speak to them, you never know. And then they just learn how to figure out the issues that we spoke about, right? And just get through like those just heartaches and keep motivated, because they didn't have successful years. It took a lot of unsuccessful years to get to your successful ones, right? I'm a prime example. Not to say I'm successful by any means, because I'm still reaching. We got some big plans and stuff like that. But, I just took a little bit of all of them, and every person you talk to, successful, they'll tell you the same thing. Like, man, I'm not special. And they'll even say things as far as, like, I'm not even smart, right? It's just, I just figured it out as I went along, right? And nothing happens overnight. Nothing.
Yeah. You gotta have passion. You gotta have passion for it. You got to.
Yeah.
You can't survive without that passion.
Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. I worked for a lot of people the early years, and that drives me, because I never want to go back to working for anybody. I had my fair share of good bosses, right? And I made a lot of friends along the way, but I never want to go back. And that's my driver. I'd much rather work 100 hours for myself than 40 hours for somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me moving. I'm just like that. It's like a internal fear of taking that step back. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, you're a leader now.
Hey, thank you.
And in the community.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Whoa.
That comes with the territory.
Yeah, that's huge. Whoa. That's a great compliment, man. Thank you.
Is there any particular failures that you remember going through where you were like, man, this is like the trench right here that I'm going through? Other than opening you opened a business in a pandemic, which is an incredible feat in itself.
I mean, there's a few things that come to mind, right? And number one, man, I just remember, like, I was back home and I think at the time I just lost my girlfriend, I lost my job, and I lost a band that I was playing music with. And it was right around the holidays. So around the holidays, man, for some weird reason, it gets more depressing, right?
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, man. I just remember walking down the street with a bottle of tequila, offering my neighbors a shot, right? And we were all like childhood friends, right? But they have their families at that point, and I'm this guy stuck in the trenches. And I just remember that was bottom. I was like, man, you know, I got up the next day. I was like, I can't believe I'm offering like his grandma like a shot of tequila, right? And so that was one of them, man. But that was like really like a turning point for me.
What got you through?
Just the want for more, you know? This is it. Like, this can't be it. I'm going to just kind of push, right? And I think at that time, man, I knew I'd outgrown Yuma internally, right? I love Yuma for all it is and all the friends and family I have there. But I was really, like, done with it all at that point. And so, you know, around that time, I think I was already planning on moving to Tucson, where I saw, like, a lot of opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's kind of brought me here, and ironically met my wife, you know, shortly before. So she played a big motivator, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
And then to add to that, right, you tell me about losses. Man, it's every time I tried to make easy money. No such thing, right? It's like there was like these deals that, you know, you think you could make a quick grand, and they just go south, and bam, you just lose out. Ain't no such thing.
Yeah.
You know, for everybody listening, it's just stay away from that stuff that shiny that you think is gonna help you win in a week. It doesn't happen, man. Like if you're gonna jump in, you got a great idea, and you just gotta like follow through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a good point. You bring that up, that the easy money.
Yeah.
I've had experiences like that before. Where like I remember one time I had a company. They were like, "Hey, can you do this? You know, do this certain thing for me." They needed some help with some website stuff, and I'm like, I feel pretty confident in what I can do with websites.
Yeah, sure.
And they're like, "Yeah, we'll pay you a good amount of money
Mm-hmm.
to do it." And I was like, "Man, it's gonna be quick and easy." Like,
Mm-hmm.
they were telling me, I'm like, I could do that."
Mm-hmm.
Man, as soon as I got into it, I was so in over my head.
How so? Like
they had like a whole information data system built into their site, and like I was just I thought that stuff was being pulled from something else, like another area, but no, it was all internally.
Yeah.
And the company they had that built it had so much security, like that you could not move or do anything without contacting them.
Yeah.
And they would charge them hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to move one thing or do one thing in there.
Jeez.
So I got into it, and I'm sitting there. I'm at their place too. I'm like at the desk. I'm like, I'm so in over my head right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had spent 4 hours there.
Yeah.
That I never can get back. And
yeah.
And I went and I just was like, I went up to them and I'm like, hey, I can't help you.
Yeah.
What you have is as good as it's gonna get in my eyes. I'm not even going to charge you.
Yeah.
So a job that I thought was going to be thousands and thousands of dollars, I ended up losing money.
Oh, yeah, you put money into it?
Yeah, well, the time that I was there.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'll never get that back.
Yeah, definitely.
So I couldn't even charge them. In my right mind, I'm like, I can't even charge you for what I've done because it got us nowhere. And dang, that taught me a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
Taught me a lot. Like I was like, man, I really need to dig in further before I do jump into something.
Yeah, man. And people got to understand, man, like you need those losses to, you know what I'm saying? Like you need those losses to like allow you to like avoid them if they ever come around again, right? Like, man, it took me, man, like those easy money schemes, damn, personal and freaking like professional, like it took me like 3 of them, and I was like, the third one was like, the hell you doing, dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, this thing gonna work. Like, quit searching for that easy money, right? Like, it was just, they were kicking the asses a few times. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in stuff like that, man. People will paint like a really pretty picture,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's gonna work. I can't see how that
yeah.
won't work. And just like the website thing for me, like what that company didn't know that I was gonna do work for is that the company that built him that, they did such a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
But they had a team that did it.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah, yeah, 100%. Well, when you're starting, man, like it's all right to be by yourself, but eventually, like when you start growing, like a team's definitely necessary. Like shout out to my manager and my team at Blacktop right now, man. They're amazing. They really took in, the culture I was trying to instill, and they just really ran with it, and they're doing a great job, and I'm like super grateful. I could actually walk away and like breathe knowing that I'm in good hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's a thing too. Is the customer service there is
great,
like 5-star, dude. It's
man, thank you.
Everybody's friendly.
Yeah,
like just good mood. Makes you feel good to be in there.
100%.
Because there's some places you'll go and you're like,
whoa.
You'll talk to somebody there and just sucks your energy out of your soul.
Yeah, man.
Like, man.
I've never gotten that, but I'm not gonna say no names, but I've been to a few places like that in town, and I'm just like, man, one of them, bro, like really just like made my jaw drop, right? So I'm not gonna name the place, but I'll probably never go there again. I walked in for a drink, and I remember I'll just say it was a bar, right? Mm-hmm. Walk in for a drink, and it was right before a concert or whatever, and so one guy, just friendly talk, asked one of the waitresses like, "Oh man, long line," and she kind of snapped back at him like, "Well, if you don't want to wait, you could go somewhere else." Like, like straight up, like loud, like my mouth just dropped. I was like, if she talks to him that way, I mean, he might have been a little tipsy, but he didn't mean no harm with the question. He was just small talk, right? Mm-hmm. And after that, I was like, I would never spend my money in that type of place. That's not welcoming. Why would I give you my money if you're not gonna give me service with a smile? Now, it doesn't have to be fake smiles and so on and so forth, but man, it is definitely like really important that when people come in, that you welcome them with open arms, man. Like, you know what I mean? That's your bloodline right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your bloodline, and you want people coming back, essentially, right? So, looking at it now, like, now that we're talking about it out loud, looking at it, like, I think a business owner should know that and portray that to their employees, right? Because I think, no offense to employees, man, shout out to all of them, but I don't think the employees see the big picture sometimes. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So if they're in a bad mood and they instill that bad mood into a customer, like, man, little do you know, you're hurting the business that's helping you pay your own bills, right? Yeah. So you want to make your place the best possible. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That starts like walking in through the door. Yeah. It starts right there. The food's like, in my opinion, important, but it's that moment you walk in the door, right? You just want this welcoming smile. So
that's why it's important to get like good people around you. And I mean, it takes a lot to get somebody that's good. Yeah. And sees the vision. Like even here, we're in our business, I've been through stuff where I've even been, someone's just MF'd me in my office. Just, because just some people just want a paycheck and they're like, I'm gonna do what I need to do to get it, and I don't really care about customers. But if you can find people that really see the vision and see the importance of serving people, like what you do can change the whole course of someone's day.
100%. And the company. Yeah. If you just, you may not be getting paid what you want to at the moment, right? But if you just do your part in helping this company grow, right? Especially small ones. The people that you hire, man, are really like important to, detrimental to, helping you get up to that next level, because you can't do it alone. No. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. So luckily, I had my bad seeds, but I did recruiting, man, from like a year prior, right? And overall everybody's worked, and again, like, I'm a very humbled man that they really like been going above and beyond. You know what awesome. I mean? Yeah, 100%. But it also took work, right? Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. All we don't know. Yeah, all intentional, 100%. And I can't say that I was always like this either, man. I was probably that one that just wanted the check when I was younger too. Yeah. I didn't know how to.
Didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. I had no idea, right? I didn't know how to see big picture. I didn't have big picture thinking. That's a learned trait in itself. So, you know, my apologies to anybody in the past that I was a pain in the ass to, just like searching for my check and showing up drunk to work. So my bad. I apologize.
What advice do you have for listeners pursuing your type of venture?
My type of venture in particularly, like a restaurant?
Yeah.
Number one, man, like, I think just don't throw something together, right? Like a menu, for example. Don't just throw it together. Like, take the time to try it and then allow the public to try it, right? Keep it small. Like, I think everybody thinks that's bigger is better, but keep the menu small. That was my winner right there. Like, I kept it small, and it wasn't overwhelming for me to like prep and go out into the day, right? And so I would have like probably like 6 items on my menu at all times, and people would give you their feedback, right? They're like, oh, this was good, and then you get to kind of see like what sells and what doesn't. Mm-hmm. So this is how our menu is so successful, right? Everything that wasn't selling, like, we kept the popular stuff. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even with the menu we have now, man, like, you know, we hear the feedback. People love it. We keep it. That's it. Like, so keep it simple. You don't have to go that strong and get out there and test your product. That's how it starts, man. That's how it starts. I mean, I think actually a food truck's a very good idea because it's not as intense as a restaurant, right? You need to work your way up to a restaurant. I had to, you know, man, was it tough. Like, it was like, I don't know what giving birth feels like, but I feel like I gave birth, right? But it made me a stronger person because of it. But I'm very grateful to starting off small because that really allowed me to prep myself mentally and just business-wise to go into something bigger, right? Yeah. So keep it small, man. Test your product. Keep your menu small. It's gonna allow you tons of stress. And if you're wanting a restaurant, that's great. But maybe consider like a food truck to, you know, start and prep you for that. Yeah. You know?
That's good. Yeah, take those baby steps into baby steps, man. There are some people that are like, I want to start a restaurant, and I know you've seen it. I've seen it where you see this restaurant come, like a big space, big front end. Oh, they never had a truck, or they never really did anything before that. They just jump into it. They get people to buy into it, and
man. Oh yeah. I can't even imagine, bro. Like, I want everybody to succeed, right? Yeah. And I can't imagine like people like the stress they're going through once they open those doors, because in everybody's head, even mine, like, I was like, people be coming through the doors and it doesn't work that day. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we kind of grew up a reputation as a food truck, but Tucson is a big place in the grand scheme of things. You know, we had a small following compared to how many people were in Tucson. Mm-hmm. So now it's our goal to get that bigger group to get to know what we do, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been happening slowly. Like, it's not something that's just like popped off or something like that. So that's been one of my biggest challenges, like spreading our name a little bit more, right? So yeah. Back to that point, like, just baby steps, man. Like, again, like, your idea is great. You just gotta understand that things aren't gonna pop off overnight. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's gonna take a couple of years, man, before you make significant money. But again, like, it happens organically. For me, like, walking away from the man was organic. Shoot, man, there was a point there where I had 2 food trucks. Yeah, man, nice. I had 2 of them. Yeah. I had my brothers helping me out, and so I had 2 of them. And then I realized sometimes more is not better. It's like, you know, you could do so much with one place, and so and again, I go back to, like, keeping it simple. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, keep it simple. Like, number one, like, don't overcomplicate it. You know, I think that's human nature to want to overcomplicate it, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good stuff. People need to hear that.
Yeah, 100%.
They really do. I mean,
100%.
it's easy to get caught up and start this wildfire where you're creating all these new products and items coming out of your business, and but you lose quality control and stuff like that when that
all
starts
of the
happening.
above, man. Like, all of the above.
Dominoes.
What did they do? What did they do? What did they veer off into?
Yeah.
Didn't they veer off into like sandwiches and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of. You see all kinds of stuff happen. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I saw, so I was, I won't say the business back in the day that I was, so I started off in food service when I was really young, and it was a hot dog shop over on the north side, and the menu was, there was a lot, man. There was a lot. Like, I mean, honestly, I think there was probably like 5 items that I always saw flying out. But we kept all this other stuff and then introduced like new hot dogs. And like, man, this is really just like exhausting and kind of taken away. And that I saw that happen, and then like now I think back at it, I'm like, holy cow, that was like a lesson learned for that. So the business didn't make it.
Yeah.
I think it might have, but some big restaurant came in from California.
Yeah.
Well, I guess kind of big, and it was crazy. The guy opening the one there, he walks into the place I'm working, and he orders something and he eats it. He eats all of it. All of it. And he walks back up to the counter with the empty basket.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm so-and-so with so-and-so. I'm opening up across the street. And he's like, you're not going to make it.
Dang.
To the
straight
owner,
up.
to the owner. He's like, you're not going to make it.
Wow.
You might want to move. You might do something else. But you're not going to make it. He's like, well, why do you say that? He was kind of like pressed, like, what the heck? This guy just walked in here. He's like, well, why do you say that? He's like, it's missing something.
Love it.
And I'm like,
I mean, it's not the best way to confront the owner, right? Like, hey, man, it could have been just like, you're missing something. Like, damn, close me down.
He could have just said, like, hey, it's missing something. But no, he straight told him, he's like, you're not going to make it. It's missing something. And he tries to ask him, he's like, well, what is it missing? He's like, I don't know, but it's something.
Dang, that's fair, bro.
Gives him his card and walks out.
Yeah. And I think that's what it was, bro, right? I figured this out, right? Because before, let me catch my thoughts a little bit here. Now, Tucson's known for its food. It's another level of food.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
So much good stuff.
I actually worry more for the corporate place than I do the local place these days, especially in Tucson. In Tucson, man, oh my God, there's good food everywhere. And majority of the places are local, right? So my theory back in the day was, for what it was back in the day, before then, you could just throw a plate together, open a restaurant, and you were considered successful because you had a restaurant where people could unite and eat, right? But it's a new day. Right now, man, like, you're going against not only corporate places, but you're going against local chefs that are badass. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that is the challenge. Like, if you walk in a restaurant, man, and you're not wowed the first time, you probably won't be back, right? That is the challenge right now, right? And it's a great challenge. You know what I mean? I'm super, like, humbled that we're even considered up there with the best. You know what I'm saying? And so with that said, like, back to the pandemic thing, man, like, I think a lot of people were like, a lot of restaurants, man, they still had that old traditional way, right? And maybe we're already kind of struggling, and the pandemic just kind of put them over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember reading something that, like, the profit margin on like bigger restaurants, like, their food is like a really low percent.
Yeah.
It's like 5% or something like that, something crazy. And, like,
yeah, but it's like at a big
front ends.
Yeah, but it's at a bigger scale. So, like, that 5% is like tons of money, right? Like,
so I think it was Cheesecake Factory. Like 2 months into it, they were already freaking out. Like, they weren't able to pay rent on a bunch of their buildings.
Well, funny, here's the truth to that, right? So the building itself doesn't pay rent, the corporate does. So they don't have to worry about that stuff. They pay the rent to whoever the rent goes to, right?
Yeah.
So the managers just have to go in there and make sure, like, employees are in place and food costs and blah, blah, blah. So the managers don't have that pressure. You know what I'm saying? Or the proprietors and stuff like that. Because the corporate pays for that stuff, right? So they could, like, a big company like Cheesecake, man, like, you know, they could maintain. You know, it's easier for them to maintain.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw an article, I was like, dang, even the big ones are getting hit hard right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure they did compared to what they were making, like, you know, pre-pandemic or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. And it's just crazy you opened a business in there. And
I mean, shoot, man, trust me, I was nervous. Like, I did my homework, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what people don't understand. I did my homework, man. Like, and I'll share this, too, because the media was always just, like, posting restaurants that were closing down, right? You never hear anything like, oh, restaurants are flourishing, right? So I got the opportunity to talk to some of the neighbors and some other restaurant owners, man, and they were still making it work, man, with to-goes. They were still, you know, it was working. And my accountant now manages 3 restaurants, and he goes, I manage 3 restaurants, man. They're killing it. Awesome. And this is like, you know, before I even signed the lease. So I'm hearing all this stuff, and I'm, you know, you kind of watch the media, which tends to be always negative. And so that really gave me the confidence to move forward. I go, man, I know we got a great product that packages up to go nicely. You know, it's easy to maintain, and I know we're going to kill it, right? It took a little work, a little longer than I expected, right? But, man, like, you know, I'm going to make it work, you know. And so we got in there, and, man, the support's been grand, you know. Just a lot of, like, you know, support from local media and so on and so forth. So, I mean, nothing against the media, but I think sometimes they just tend to go more towards the negative end than the positive end, right? Yeah. And that's what we all see, and it tends to scare us. It sells. Yeah.
People, you know, the media companies that, like the big ones, they tragedy is
man.
Scandal is money.
Oh my God.
Now this is a media company, but we're not like that. We're like it's basically a content creation.
100%.
It's not like that. But we see it all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, you asked me about my influences. It's a lot of podcasts like these, man, that, you know, I get to learn from somebody you know what I'm saying. And most times it's like people you don't even know.
Yeah,
like.
Someone's gonna hear you now and go, "I remember what."
Yeah, I hope so, and that's my ultimate goal for coming onto these podcasts. Like, man, like, understand that I'm no smarter and no more special than you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, like, jumping in there and doing it, getting in the trenches and figuring it out.
Yeah. So, can you tell the listeners that don't know where you're at? Where is your restaurant located?
Blacktop Grill is at 8300 North Thornydale Road, Suite 101. The food truck, we actually started going out consistently again, and if you look on our Facebook events page, you see, like, our destinations, and we kind of went back to some of our favorite breweries. You know, I can't go out. I've been having to say no to a lot of things lately just because time factor and stuff like that, but we're trying to keep at least northwest for a lot of our stops. Yeah, we got some great places. Dragoon just opened up. Dragoon Brewing Company just opened up their lobby, so we're back over there. Tucson Hop Shop, if you've ever been there, man, it's such a great place. I think it got voted, like, best beer bar in Arizona.
I haven't been there. Where's that at?
It's on River and Dodge.
Okay.
River and Alvernon, wherever it starts, wherever the park's at. You know that park? I can't think of the name of the park, but that's a great place, man. We go, you know, nearby. We go to Button Brew House, great spot. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. Oh, Caps and Corks.
Okay,
yeah. We're there about once a month. So, I mean, it's great. Cell phone businesses, local businesses, and you know, that's where we try and keep our attention.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
Right on. Do you have any problem with listeners connecting with you?
No, not at all, man. No, not at all, man. You can find me on Instagram, Blacktop Grill, or AZ Rep. And you can find me on Facebook, Gabe Ceniceros. Like, any questions, man, like, I'm always happy to answer. Yeah.
Right on. All right, so I'm coming to the end of this, so I got a couple things left. And again, thank you for your time and being here.
100%.
It's been a pleasure. It's awesome. What's a common myth about being a restaurant owner that you want to debunk?
The glamorous end. Like, people tend to see the glamorous end and don't see the work involved on the daily. Right. Daily challenges. There's always challenges. And some bigger than others, man. But it at the end of the day, like I mentioned, it's very satisfying, you know. So, you know, knowing that you maintained your business for another month, right?
Yeah.
Like, the year, when I hit the year, I'm going to celebrate. And we're 6 months in, 7 months already, actually. So we're pretty... Yeah.
It was like yesterday.
I trust me, man. I had my freak out moments. So, like, first 4 months, like, holy crap. Like, oh, my God. Hold on tight. But we're almost there. And I think before I know it, the year's going to be done. And just don't believe the hype, right? Like, even on my end, like, you might see me, like, succeeding, but understand, man, that there's like daily challenges, you know.
Yep, the real struggles.
Yeah, real struggles.
The stuff that happens in the background of stuff like businesses.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They don't make it out.
A lot of figuring out. Yeah, and I could see where people get overwhelmed, right? Because it is overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming. So understand that when you get in, you're gonna have those same challenges. Like, nobody's really exempt.
Yep.
Yeah.
It will come.
It will come.
It'll happen.
Yo, it'll happen.
It will rain.
It'll happen.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I talked with the other co-owner of the business, Clint, and we talk about all the time how, like, being a business owner is like being, like, you're like a fireman. Like, you're always putting out these fires. There's always like a fire that pops up. And you're like, I got to go put that out. And that can be a whole day sometimes. Just this fire, this fire, this fire, this fire. And you're just going to each one.
Just make sure you're choosing, like, the most important of fires.
Prioritize
them. Yeah. Because there's little fires too that sometimes you're like, we'll survive if we don't. Yeah. You'll be all right. Like.
So there's a segment of this podcast that I like to have guests get involved with.
All right.
And it's dad jokes.
All right. I'm a father, so I could appreciate them.
Yeah. How many kids you got?
I got one. 2 if you count the dog.
Yeah.
And she's like a child. Yeah, she's like a child.
No. Yeah. Feed them, take me outside. I gotta go on walks. Come on now.
She goes everywhere, man. She goes on vacations. You don't believe me, like.
Yeah, I just became a father. My baby's a month old.
Congrats.
Yesterday. Yeah,
congrats.
Baby girl.
You getting any sleep?
No.
Right.
No, I was telling him today, like, we had this big day planned out where we were gonna do this and then go to the gym and everything. And I'm like, dude, I got 2 hours of sleep last night. If that, I'm like, I'm gonna head home and let the wife get some sleep. So she can take.
That's how it's gonna be, man, for the next couple of years. But
she takes the brunt of it because she's nursing and I'm like, well, I can't do it. So
and she had the kid, like, like so we gotta we gotta give them that. Yeah. So man.
I can give her some time to be alone and snooze out. So
it might be cliche to say, man, but enjoy it because I look up and my kid's about to be 5, so I still remember like having him here and wiping his ass for the 900th time, like.
You're like, again already?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was like a big win, bro. By the way, whenever he got out of diapers, I was like, thank God. Like I was like, oh my God, never have to deal with another diaper again, or worried that you forgot him at home. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh
yeah. Yep. No doubt about it. So yeah, dad jokes. I really dig them. Do you have any off the top of your head? That
nah, man. I just know dirty ones. Like all the.
Dirty ones.
It's like all the dirty jokes. We don't want to. We probably don't want to share those on here.
Yeah, we maybe another podcast.
Maybe another podcast. You're right.
Some other program. So I have this book here. It's Exceptionally Bad Dad. So my brother's running sound for us today. The listeners. It's usually Nereda, but she had some personal stuff to take care of, and he's here. Did you get me this book?
I don't think so.
I've been trying to figure out who got me this book. The first season, I still was trying to remember who got me this. You sure?
I don't know. I got you.
So this dude, I just had my kid. This dude shows up at my house with New Balance, those white dad shoes.
Yeah. Are you a dad?
No.
But he bought me those
dad shoes.
The dad shoes.
You're moving too fast, bro. You're moving too fast. The dad clothes comes in like freaking bits and pieces. Like I can't do it. Not right away, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh man, he's gonna show up with those white.
And I hope socks. You don't wear this, man. But funny, I was on the food truck and I was a new father, but I just happened to be at this mom event But all the dads were wearing like those backward backpacks with their kids inside. I don't even know what you call them.
Oh yeah, my wife bought us one of those.
Don't do it, man.
She did.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I was like, my ass, if I'm gonna be that dad, like I'm just gonna carry them in my shoulders, like you know what I'm saying? Like, don't do it, bro.
She can't wait to use it.
I mean, if it's different, I don't know if it's.
No, she wants me to wear it. She's like, I can't wait for you to wear it. I'm like,
don't fall for it, bro.
Can we just use a stroller?
Yeah.
Or something?
Right.
But
right.
You know how it goes, man.
Oh, man.
I can say no all I want, but
I got to see that picture, man. Like, but I was shaking my hand like, my ass, if I'm going to be that. Like, no. Nah.
So, front holding baby harness, white New Balance shoes.
Go. Yeah.
Jean shorts, right? Jorts.
Right.
Some like Dickie shorts, a big dog shirt.
Yeah.
And big dog shirt. You remember that place? Yeah. Big dog shirt that says like.
Man, you're going hard. You got the whole uniform and everything.
I'm gonna have to do it. I've been thinking about throwing like a dad party where like you dress up like a like a dad.
I'm gonna have to respectfully decline on this one, but.
Father's Day. All right, so this is Exceptionally Bad Dad Jokes. This is a book in here, so I will let you find one that you like, and you can. I'm
gonna kind of like close my eyes and open a page.
It's all good. I follow a Facebook group. I can't talk right now. It's dad jokes everywhere.
All right, here's one. How many am I reading off? One?
Yeah, you can go for one right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My wife was really mad at the fact that I have no sense of direction, so I packed up my stuff and right. I ordered a chicken and egg from Amazon. I'll let you know.
Gosh, what?
Right.
It says exceptionally
Let me read it again. My wife is really mad at the fact that I have no sense of direction, so I packed up my stuff and right. I ordered a chicken and egg from Amazon. I'll let you know. I think he's trying to say, like, I'll let you know how it tastes. And I followed my own direction and ordered a chicken and egg burrito.
I'm sorry.
Right.
That was a horrible one.
Yeah, that's
some
pretty
of them
rough.
are really bad. You're all good now.
All right, here we go. You're American when you go into the bathroom, and you're American when you come out. But do you know what you are while you are in there?
What?
European.
That's good.
Maybe I read 2 jokes on that last one. I don't know.
Maybe you jumped pages?
Yeah, no, maybe I read 2 jokes all in one. It made sense to me. Did I tell you about the time I worked in a shoe recycling shop? No. It was soul destroying.
Soul destroying. Oh my gosh.
Dad jokes. Dad jokes 101.
Oh, all right. I got one for you.
Bring it. You gotta go from the book. This doesn't count when you're like on your phone.
I've been through the book, man.
Right.
I follow this cheesy group, so I gotta take advantage of.
Man, you're really taking on that dad role, like the shoes, the backpack.
Maybe I like it a little bit more than I portray.
Yeah, the group. You're in a group.
I'm a sellout. All right, what do you call a hobbit eating at KFC?
Oh man, I have no idea.
Lord of the Wings.
Oh man, I'm laughing on the inside.
All right, I'll go one more for you. I once kissed an anesthesiologist. I felt nothing.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's enough for us. We're so bad.
Oh man, that's pretty rough. Well, I appreciate the fact that you're embracing like the father aspect of it. All of it.
It's great, man. It's an awesome experience.
Yeah, 100%.
Best. It's the happiest, most exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I've never like pictured myself as a father, right? So when I was like holding a baby, I was like, holy shit, this is mine.
I was the same way. I was gonna George Clooney it, dude.
You're gonna George Clooney all the way,
I
huh?
had like goals to just be like in my 40s and
no kids and drinking martinis and whatever the hell George Clooney does.
Yep.
Right. Date supermodels and
supermodels, wear suits, drink martinis.
Right.
That's pretty much what I thought I was gonna do, but then
that sounds amazing.
That changed. I told my wife, I'm like, I don't know how you did it, but I had other plans. So,
yeah.
The fact that I'm here.
Yeah, plans change, man. That's for sure.
All right, man. Well, we've come to the end of this podcast, and
cool,
again, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll likely do a follow-up
great.
in a later season to see how things are going. And,
love it.
We're definitely going to put this out there for all the listeners to hear on Spotify.
Yeah, love it.
And Apple Podcasts. If you're interested in being on our podcast, it's really easy. Just email us at contact@ltdmedia.net. Myself or somebody else from the business will get back with you, and we can talk about getting you on here, getting you scheduled, and see what your product is or what you're wanting to bring. And again, we do have a donation button. If you do want to donate, donations go to getting guests who are out of state here, lodging, and for supplies for the show, such as drinks like Perrier that we're drinking right now. And we appreciate you listening, and we look forward to providing you with more episodes. Thanks.
Hi, this is Tammy with Copper Creek Cookies. We've been baking smiles for over 15 years. We can print anything on our individually wrapped logo cookies. What a great way to market your business on our sweet, awesome treats. For more info, check out coppercreekcookies.net.